Hi, thank you for joining us for this how-to guide on how to complete the Washington application for state financial aid, or WASFA for short. We are the Welcome Center and we help students with completing their financial aid applications. So feel free to contact us if you need that support. So our agenda for today, we're going to be talking about what is the WASFA, when should you apply, what are the required documents, what does the application actually look like, including the 1040 tax return information, that's what submitting your application looks like, and the next steps for how to complete your process. So first, we're going to be talking about what is the Washington application for state financial aid, and that consists of grants, scholarships, and work study to assist the student to meet their college tuition and fee expenses. This is something that you must apply to. It is not just automatic or guaranteed funding. The types of money involved in the WASFA are grants, which is free money, and work study, which is a paid job on campus. The money comes from the state of Washington and is not federal money, so the federal government will not receive your information. When should you apply? South Seattle College specifically, you need to allot at least 90 to 120 days in advance. So for example, if you are starting in the fall quarter of 2022, you must apply by June of 2022 to be within that 90 to 120 day processing timeframe. You can and should still apply even after that timeframe. However, funding is not guaranteed. For the WASFA, you apply one time per year. It's on a first come, first served basis. And there are currently 2 applications open. So make sure that you apply to the school year in which you're wanting to start. Additionally, each school has their own additional deadlines for financial aid awarding. So please make sure to apply as soon as it opens on October 1st of every year. What information is needed to complete the WASFA? So if you are under the age of 24 and you are not legally emancipated, in the foster care system, homeless, married, have children, or a veteran, you will need to provide information for yourself and a parent or guardian, and that includes the ITIN number or DACA number if applicable. You will need your driver's license or state ID if you have one. You will need your tax returns. This is super important. Tax returns, so a 1040 from 2 years prior. So for example, if you're wanting to start in the fall of 2022, you will need your tax information from the year 2020. If you're wanting to start in the fall of 2023, you will need your tax information for the year 2021. You will also need your parent or legal guardian's tax returns from the 2 years prior as well. You'll need your parent or legal guardian's full legal name, their social security number, if they have one, their date of birth, date of marriage, date of divorce or separation, or date of death, if applicable. If parents are married, you will need one or both of your parents' W-2s to separate their income amounts. If your parents are remarried, you will also need their new spouse's tax returns information, their social security number, their date of birth, their full legal name, again, if that applies. And then what you will also need is an estimate of current cash, savings, and checking account balance for both yourself and for your parent or legal guardian. Additionally, you will need to provide any information if you receive or pay any other type of income, such as child support. If you are over the age of 24, you will only be required to report your information. So you will need to report either the ITIN number or the DACA number, if applicable, your driver's license or state ID if you have one. Again, tax returns from 2 years prior. If you are married, you will need your W-2s to separate their incomes. You will also need the estimate of current cash, savings, and checking account balances for yourself. And again, any other income received or paid, such as child support. So what does the WASFA website look like? This is what the WASFA application looks like. You should never have to pay to complete the WASFA, so please make sure you're on the right page. And then just for clarification, the WASFA is managed by the Washington Student Achievement Council, which is why the website is shown as wsac.wa.gov/WASFA. For the login page, if you have already completed an application prior, you will be considered a returning user. If you have never completed an application, you're starting a brand new one, you will be considered a new user. For the new account registration, you will need to input your information. As the picture states, please use an email that you will check regularly, like a personal Gmail account. And please do not use your high school email, or if you already have a college email, because sometimes you lose access to those, and we want you to be able to have regular communication with the departments on campus. The new account registration continued. You want to always double check the spelling of your name and your date of birth. If you misspell anything, it's a really hard process to continue, and you do have to call the state of Washington to get that fixed. So please double check at all times. If you have a social security number, DACA or ITIN, you will enter it in that space where that second arrow is posted. However, if you do not have one, you just leave it blank. Please do not enter any zeros. If you have previously applied and know your WASFA ID, enter that WASFA ID. Should be about a 9-digit number starting with 980. If you have never applied and do not have a social security number, DACA or ITIN number, don't worry about it. It is not required, but please leave blank. To start the application, please pay attention to the year in which you are applying to. So for example, for the fall of 2022 through the summer of 2023, if you're starting in any of those quarters, you will complete the 2022-23 application as shown on the screenshot of the differences of which applications would be open at that time. Again, if you're starting in the fall of 2023 to the summer of 2024 in any of those quarters, you will complete that new application once it becomes available in October. So the residency portion continued. For residency, please make sure that you answer all of the residency questions accurately. You do need to have a high school diploma in order to be eligible for WASFA, so indicate the status of your high school information section in the section in case you have already graduated or have not graduated yet. And on top of that, in this section, you are certifying that you meet the requirements shown in the Washington State Higher Education Residency Affidavit, and you are certifying that you meet the responsibilities for residency application. Please read the instructions carefully as they could affect your eligibility for WASFA. Dependency. Again, if you are under the age of 24, unless there are specific circumstances, you will need to provide parent information. Some circumstances are listed there, and then some other non-qualifying circumstances are also listed. So please make sure that if you do have questions about that, to reach out to our department. For the parent social security number, it is important that you know that the parents do not need a social security number for their child to apply for financial aid. If they do not have a social security number, do not enter in random numbers, just enter all zeros. Again, please double check at all times that the last name, first name, everything, including the date of birth, is entered in correctly. Otherwise, the process to correct information is tedious and can take a while. Moving on, for the tax information for the WASFA, for dependent students, the student and the parent and guardian will all be asked to complete the section regarding their tax information, their tax filing. If the student or parent did not complete their taxes, you will indicate that in your application. However, no, you may be asked to provide additional documentation to the financial aid office. For independent students, only the student, and if they are married, their spouse, will complete this section. For the parent tax information, as well as the student tax information, please make sure that you're looking exactly at where the line is indicating. So as you can see here, there's an example. In the 1040 line 8A or 1040 line 2A, if that is what the question is asking for, please go to your 1040 and look for that specific line in order to ensure that you are inputting the correct numbers. Please do not put any random numbers or guess what the numbers might be, because otherwise it could affect what you receive for financial aid. For continuing on the student tax information, the student will also need to complete the tax section if they worked and completed a tax return for the year being requested. Note that information on cash and bank balances, as well as real estate or investments worth, is also asked. So ensure that you have that information on hand. And if you did not work, you feel free to enter 0. So when you get to the selecting schools application, what you want to do in this section is either find your high school from the list generated based on the information that you provide, or if your high school does not show up, please choose I can't find my high school. If you are a student in the High School 21 program at any of the colleges, please ensure that you are selecting the correct school. For South Seattle College, you will be looking at the South Seattle Community College High School completion option. Select those schools. You may choose up to 10 schools. However, please consider only applying to those you are serious about attending. You will be receiving communication from all the institutions in which you have applied to. And so make sure that you are limiting the ones that you are applying to, just in case you're not actually interested in applying to other schools. But if you are interested and want to choose up to 10 schools, you can definitely do that as well. In this section, you will also indicate where your living situation will be like. So whether you will be living on campus with your parent or on your own off campus. And then you will indicate that for every school that you have indicated you want to send your information to. For the WASFA, continuing on, to sign your application, the student will need to sign their application electronically by providing this information. So student name, last name, and the password that you provided to get access to your WASFA, as well as your current city and state. Then it will prompt you to submit your application. However, it will ask you to invite a parent to sign the application just to verify that all the information is correct. Please ensure that you type in their email correctly. Otherwise, it will not let you change it very easily. It is a tedious process. Once that parent receives that confirmation to their email, they can enter your application, review to verify the information that you have provided, and then they will go through the same process as the student to sign their application. It is important to note that the parent email address cannot be the same email that the student has used to create the account, and the parent must use this email address to create their own parent account to be able to sign and submit the student application. You only choose one parent. Upon successful completion, when the parent has signed, the student should see the following page and the following highlighted information to say that you have successfully submitted an application and on what date. Both the parent and the student need to sign the application if the parent signature is required. However, you are still not done. There are some next steps that you will need to take in order to be able to fully receive your financial aid awarding. So you will not receive any funding until you have completed the following steps. You must submit the WASFA. You must turn in all missing or additional documents requested by the financial aid office of the institution you are looking to attend. So be on the lookout for emails or any communication from them. And you must review and accept your awards from the financial aid office once it has been awarded. Some helpful tips is to consistently check your email for any communication from the financial aid office of the institution that you want to attend. Please check your junk mail. Sometimes it does go in there just because your email does not recognize the financial aid institution's email. Each school has different requirements for file completion. So some even have deadlines. So make sure that you check your school's financial aid website for details on that. If you are attending any of the Seattle colleges, your missing documents can also be found under the CTC link tab under tasks to complete. What you want to look out for though is the missing document information. And for that, we do have another presentation that it's called completing your file. And please make sure to check that out. Thank you so much.